Hello, hello, welcome to another video. We've got a tournament game here between Jort and Russianblunt, a Rebels mirror on Flats here. Flats being the map full of cliffs. And quite a lot of nerf for the players here. So they'll be able to get a good amount of food income on the go. Passive food income. It doesn't really look like there's any loot or anything like that though, so this is a pretty good one I think for just like going straight early mounties. Because you can get all the nerfs to sustain you, and then you can just throw all the workers on the carbon. And you wouldn't have the, like your opponent getting extra food out of hunt and stuff like that, so it's going to be a slow, or at least a slower route to T2 than a map that was full of like lure and nerfs. So you could just straight throw all the workers on carbon and get that troop center and that power core up very, very quickly. Have a look at things here. I don't know if these are maybe Russians nerfs. Is it 18 per player? Don't know what's going on here. Doesn't look like Russian had a lot. It was 14. Oh, there they are. So it's 18 per player. It's quite actually high nerf spawn. Probably the highest that you would get. So still 4 here for Jort to find. Jort kind of building a lot of prefabs. Up to 20 there. Just gets carbon, I think. Maybe he just always forgets that house and he's building it ahead of time. Carbons are... There's a few to choose from. It's annoying that this is probably the best looking one, but these berries are sort of in the way. I guess you can slowly munch on them here. I would think if he is going to go for like a early mounty aggression, though, these workers should just be on the carbon. That's unfortunate. Those nerfs getting caught by Jort there, but Russian does have a scout near, so he takes them back. Jort trying to contest them here. He still hasn't found his 4 up here. I'll be Russian getting very tilted. Didn't click to kill them or anything like that though, just being annoying, slowing them down, getting into the nursery. You can respect that. If he went and used the attack mode on the scout there to kill them, that would be a tilting one. But BM. I don't like see the point in that unless it's like, you know it's like super extra nerfs and stuff like that. Like a map that has loads of extras in the corners, then it feels a bit ethical. But you kind of want to lose games because you're being outplayed rather than you've stolen, or win games rather that you've outplayed them rather than stealing all their nerfs or whatever like that, where they just couldn't win. So both troop centers going to be dropped here. Just because they've got all that extra carbon, but you know, there are some farms dropping here for Russian. Could maybe set himself up to get to T2 a bit quicker, but also defend the Mounty Rush here. Let's have a look at his food. 50 or so. I better speed this up. 1.00 is just a little bit too slow. It's got the double carbon. So I think he definitely has to play on the defensive here. I'm going to make a Mounty with no power core, that's interesting. Going to probably end up 2v1 in his base for Mounties here, because the first one's already on its way. And it should maybe find these nerfs for Jort that he's been missing, so that's always a bonus for him. Built the 2 Mounties here, but he's going to run out of Nova. Can't really keep the aggression up, he needed to put some workers onto Nova instead of these farms right now. These guys have all gone idle. Power core almost finished up for Russian here, and that means that his Mounty should be out in a moment. Don't know what he did with it. Did he cancel it? He did cancel it. He got a pretty good wall off here around the power core. what he needs to kind of do is just try and save his trooper recruits though. He needs to get like a couple together. Fortunately, like in this matchup, they've got workers that can be repaired, but he doesn't have basic training, which is a problem. He should really get that immediately, now that he's hit T2. Ugh. Great basic. Why do people forget this so much? There we go. Should be a red flag when your workers are just falling over when you've not done any luring. Shooting the highest health one there. But he has gotten the troopers out, so he really just needs to counter-attack quickly. And he could really put Jort under a lot of pressure here. And what he maybe could have done in this instance, instead of the second troop centre, is spaceport. And go for a sort of really quick, cheesy T3, which could punish this as well, maybe. Just because Jort probably play on the defensive a little bit. It's a short rush distance, though. And he just doesn't feel comfortable enough to move out onto the map. I think he's losing his window to do any sort of aggression here, and Jort's just going to get off scot-free into T2 and feel quite comfortable. I don't think there's really too much damage done. I think he lost a worker and such. The problem going forward is maybe that Russian's going to be behind in farms here. And this base is a lot more open than Jort's, because Jort's done some decent walling there, kind of fear of the counter attack. You have to go quite around a bit just to get to his carbon. And he's barreling forward here with his troops, and it looks like he's doing a bit more like walling, some sort of scouting prefabs to catch troopers. Russian's done one over here, which is very good, should catch this force. But he's moving out at the exact same moment, so he'll need to pull that back, I think, and just deal with this. But he's stopped making troopers. His carbon's feeling a little bit rough at the moment, as he's trying to make some farms as well. I think maybe this third carbon processor right now is a little bit premature. Just because he's not really like replenishing his forces too much. As you can see, Jort's reinforcements are a bit more than he's actually got at hand at the moment, even though I think he's won that trade fairly well. And he might just lose here and then get sort of pinned down a bit. He's only got the one turret. Very quick to go Nova here as well. Almost like he's thinking about trying to get to T3, but it's just like it's not the right moment for it. Like, stability should always come first, and having enough, because you need the troops to defend yourself. The turrets can only do so much, and there's only one turret too. I think he's just going to invite this pressure on. You can see Jort building a turret here. He snuck this worker, that one that was building the houses over here. He's going to make an offensive turret, and that way you can just retreat back to that point, and you can have this looming pressure onto Russian's base here. So he's just rallying into the Nova here. Forward to shoot up some workers. Attempt to maybe pull these troops away so you can sneak these guys into the carbon. Russian just gonna go and try and deal with this force though, very clever. Cleaning this up would make him feel a hell of a lot better here, but does need to watch his farming workers getting picked off. Unfortunately, making that decision is going to let him get the wall around the turret so that he can't bash it down with his own workers. So you've got a lot of idols stacking up. The carbon's getting a bit more inefficient. Try and make some mounting. He's not really the right call here. I don't think they can really get into range of it unless there's a gap in the prefabs, which could very well be. He's not going to get the second turret. He's trying to kill it. Waste the ore. Can I take this trade here at his Nova? Unfortunately, these workers getting gunned down kind of sucks. He's going to have the superior trooper count, but I do worry that during all this that Jort might be close to getting to T3. You can see the spaceports dropping down. He's already got the war centre, so that'll be his 2 buildings, and he can just sell off some food and some carbon and just tech up. all he has to do is just weather this counter attack, which shouldn't be too potent here. The base is kind of okay defensively. He might get knocked off this hill though. He's going to clean up those mounties without a loss. Oh, he's walking around the prefab, which sucks. It's going to just make these green troopers from Blunt win this fight very easily. But he's on his way to T3, so he just needs to weather the storm here. He has some ore, don't know if he's bought that or he's been gathering it. It looks like he is gathering it. So he can drop the mech factories, get them in line for our T3. I'll have a quick look at Russianblunt at home, who trying to get up there. I think if he just uses the spaceport and sells off his carbon and buys like 100 food, he could just tech up right now as well and catch up. I think he's maybe going to be behind quite a few workers though. They got what, 28, 41, yeah, like 13 worker lead because just so many have died during all the skirmishes. It's not completely over though. If he just gets himself up to T3, he can maybe just get some good value out of the strike mechs or fighters and catch up that way. At the very least, Jort's made like a few more troopers here just to defend himself. He's going to upgrade them. So I think Russian should probably just pull his troopers back. He should be on his way to T3, I hope. Yeah. I don't think he should lose these, because he's not going to get anything out of it. There's nothing for him to harass, and the strike mech coming now. Not paying attention, just shooting at the prefabs, so he's just going to lose them completely for free. When they could have at least tanked a little bit. See, when these troops come his way now, it's going to be a lot more tricky just to handle it with strike mechs, because there's going to be strike mechs and the troops. Or if you want to make mech destroyers, they can gun them down as well, because they're going to have that plus range. Quick look here. Trooper getting in, try to grab some workers. But yeah, you got the 6 range troopers on their way now, and they'll be supplemented with the strike mechs here. I believe an airbase. Double airbase coming down now as well. He's really going to pick Russian apart here. And he seems he's got some troops that were just sneaking around here. They're going to stand in the carbon, get some worker kills as well. It's super frustrating to deal with. Really good multi-pronged attacks here from Jort, really picking Russian apart. Just making everything so frustrating for him. See, Russian's doing a good job getting some anti-air troopers out for the air that will be coming his way. But I think without the troopers to sort of slow down this force, he's going to get way too much value out of this. And they could come forward and just pick off the anti-air troopers as well. And these workers are just going to die. I think it's maybe all just a bit too much and might call GG here, because there's just too much happening. The base is so open. Might be walls around these bits, but you can get behind it. There's not really an active carbon anymore, and there's not really enough of an opportunity to get the T3 units out to pull his way back into this game. And with the double airbase as well, even with his one, airbase, well, he's actually got 2, but I don't think he can really properly afford it as such. They got the turret to hide on, but like there's no eco. The troops are still running around as well. The turret's still alive. Kudos for hanging in there, but I think even I would be calling this one. Oh, good trade there. I don't know if they maybe missed a shot, but it's really going to help them take some of the pressure off. But again, what are we at? The workers, 51 to 16. Yeah, that's too much of a deficit. You're just going to keep losing. You just throw units at you, and you can't do both. You can't rebuild your workers and make the units to handle it. So we're going to the next game here, which is going to be on, what is this? Is this rivers or precipice, or what is this? Rivers. It always looks a bit odd when it's 1v1 rivers. These cool little islands with absolutely nothing on them. Like crap. Well, at least they're water, so get some opportunity out of those, I guess. Have like a shield generator chilling with your cruisers. Make a cool fortress. Looking at the food, a lot of berries. I think it's just straight berries here. Food processor berries. If you're lucky, you could have some shorefish, but it doesn't really look like it's that. There's a lot more like large fish than shorefish. And the other side of things, yeah. So it'll just be straight berries. I think this is a good map to like berries and then just actually shipyard fish here. Because it's going to be a slow sort of T1. It'll be the same as sort of farming, it's just like you're gonna have extra workers. A cool island with Nova on it. I think I always say to like map creators and stuff, like if you're gonna put like islands and things or things in the center, put like resources on them so there's, you know, more of a reason to play for them. Some sort of ethical, unethical Cadus kicking about. These are sort of split up into two patches. Kind of far away. I think I just go berries and then fish. Decent looking fish as well. All these medium bunches. It's a bad time when you go to build your shipyard here though and the Rancor aggro's onto you. I see Russianblunt going to be quick to get the crossing done, and there is just the one crossing. Now the question is, has he walled his own scout inside his base though? Yeah. So like, if you're going to get the early crossing, just make sure your scout's on their side so you can keep an eye on them. So both won't be able to see what the other's doing. But you're throwing away an opportunity there to be the only one who can see what the other is doing. Which is very valuable. Unless you're a deeply paranoid individual who has such fear that they've managed to somehow sneak a worker across and make a forward. I suppose if you always suspected that, you could make the taboo medic and scout with that as well, inside your own lands. So it's going to be a bit boring now. Oh, farms for Russianblunt. As I said, I'd like to see shipyards here. Get the most out of this. I don't think there's really much fear going the shipyards as well, with like one crossing and it being walled. Russian just one worker shy. Kinda need 8 just to keep the production going. And Jort was 7 as well. 8 boys, 8. The old shipyard. It's gonna be a slow one maybe. Double carbon, I like that. So you can just take it easy, set yourself up for big T1 eco. Maybe go like 3 shipyards. Split them up. Or maybe 2 in the forward and then 1 in the back. That way, if your opponent tries to go at you for frigates, you've still got like double frigate production. Because if you were making them here, they have to go all the way around, which sucks a bit. I mean, I think with Russian having gone farms... Oh, he's going to make one here, that's smart. He's got the Rancor to fight though. With him going farms, I think you could only really... I guess there's 2 options to play this, to beat like a build like this. There's a lot of pressure on you to do tons of damage, I think. So, if you had this scout across, you could see that this is happening. And you could go for a quick T2, and then either 1 or 2 shipyards and just make frigates. So delay the T3, get the frigates, and kill all the boats, and really cripple Jort. Then get to T3 a bit quicker, and then go for the air bases. Or you could just go straight, really quick T3, double air base, and just try and pin the opponent down with fighters. But when you do a slower build like this and you've got this eco, you can absolutely afford just having a troop center in T2 to make anti-air troopers ahead of time. So both kind of require quite a bit of micro and getting a lot of damage out just to sort of justify it. Otherwise, because if you don't do that, well, they're just going to be so ahead of you in workers, right? Because each shipyard's like an extra command center. That's interesting. Go for the shorefish here. I think it'd be better to just go for like another shipyard with power droid. Maybe he's worried about not getting. Oh, there's one up here. Okay, that's a nice little extra then. A little bit, because this is like the fastest food gathering. I'll give him a little bit quicker of attack time here. That's Russian hitting T2 just a bit earlier. You see, with the way that you split these up though, right? If you went double shipyard, this is kind of dead. And then it's like, oh shit, I've lost like a lot of my food eco here. And then you could run round and pin him down. And you struggle to get enough frigates together. Temple Spaceport. A couple of hollows here to grab up. The thing about the hollows though, maybe slows him down from getting, you know, like enough aggression on Jort here. He's just going to jump ahead and ahead. And what this is really going to be strong for when he hits T3 is just getting him to T4, because he's just going to have all this surplus food coming in. And that'd be that's kind of like the big win condition here, right? And like air civ v air civ map like this, where it's sort of split map. The fast T4 air would just be super devastating. Where's the third hollow? That's here. God damn. Rancor gang. So I'm gonna have a bit of an advantage here with the holocrons. Interesting sentry post. Get that on here. Maybe looking to catch some fighters coming his way. I just think Russian's going to be a bit too passive when I think he really needs to be on the aggressive with the boat difference. And T3 at the same time, so maybe these shorefish really did shore up the attack time. Kind of just shows you how strong fishing is as well on this map with the just like the berry start, because the berry's so slow. Gives you a lot of time to like gather up all that carbon and then just funnel all the boats out and make up the difference against the farms. I'll just have a quick look for context here. Tons and tons of resources ahead. Not really much aggression going out, just grabbing up holocrons. And I mean, this could end up that they both just try to T4, but the guy with the ships is going to be way, way ahead. See the research center is definitely what he's going to go for. Quite right. We get the fish and then all the specificity. I don't think he's really done any sort of scouting though. Which he probably kind of should have done. Like, see if his opponent's got boats. There should be a bit of an anxiety about like frigates and stuff coming your way. Should be keeping an eye on that. He's going to send these fighters out now, and I guess that's his scouting for the game. As that's happening, and Russia knows that they're there, he's coming out and grabbing up a couple of frigates. If you look at the difference in the resources here, like Jort can hit the button right now. Let's go for that super fast T4. A good trade for Russian, and Russian kind of needs to push this advantage right now and do damage right away, because there are corners being caught. He's going to shoot these boats, and I think he might lose. Good micro here. He needs to win these trades comfortably though. Oh, both on one help. Where's the rest? He's trying to get to T4 himself. He just doesn't have the money. Doesn't have the food. Only on 1 CC. Might even just be out of this game as soon as he sees that his opponent's T4. Because, like, what's he gonna do? So I said, if you're gonna farm against boats, you got to do a lot of damage to justify it. Otherwise, you've just given them a huge free lead. It's like a difference of 21 workers, and it's probably been that way since T2. Enormous lead. Jort got the 3 hollows as well, taking away here, and being the boo, get a bit of extra res out of those, and there's the T4. And I wouldn't really be surprised if Russian's just going to call GG here. Yeah. Bit anticlimactic, but that's kind of just the way we saw that was going to play out when there was not enough aggression at the start of T3. So, third game here, so it was best of 5, probably the semi-finals I'm assuming for the low winters. A lot of bantha, a lot of flumps, precipice I think. God damn, a lot of food there. It's all in like the one area as well, that's super comfy. Tons of nerfs, is this a balanced map? What the hell? I guess so. A lot easier for Jort to find all of his though. Early for lump as well, so it's going to be super fast T2. Some decent fish in the river here. And the hollows 3 again on Jort's side. And they are Naboo once again, so Naboo and Mirror. This would be a crazy map for getting a troop center on your opponent's side. See, what would be really cool is if Russian did this, stopped him from walling properly, and then maybe just snuck the troop center power core somewhere. But again, scout not on enemy side. To be fair, he has to find a lot of nerfs in this one. There's some extra Rontos as well. I guess yeah, you can wall it into their base and make a medic. It would just be so valuable to know like, everything your opponent's doing and they just don't have a clue what you're doing. You get more and more opportunities to really catch them off guard. Is that like 24 nerfs? Russian a wee bit behind finding his. Not surprised that they are a bit sprawled out. His Jorts are all in the one area. So up to about 20. Keeping up fairly well. What you could also do is forward here, delete the wall, and just T2 mounting your opponent. With a double lure, you need to calm down, son. Better watch for this Kadu in these houses, he might run away. Oh, punished for the double lure. If only you had the gang lure. 5 times the hit points. There's still 4 nerfs at large as well. I think they've been a bit uneven with the nerf spawns here on this map. 3 sitting there. That's a bit suspicious. Did you just find 1 nerf? So it seems like there was 8 more nerfs on Jort's side. Bit unethical. 8 more nerfs and an extra holocron. Is that more double luring? They should eventually find them, right? Because he's got nothing else to do with his scout. Jort about to hit T2. I should not hit the button yet. It was slower to find those nerfs. I hit the troop center. I think this is coming a bit late, if I'm honest. Jort's just going to have like one of those super fast T3s here, just because of the way that the food is. You can see it's already climbing. And it looks like he's balanced his carbon effectively, so you can just actually hit the button in a second, like now. Just cancel this worker and go. Alright, you're going to greed for the worker. Could be even quicker. Get those upgrades now. This could be like double air base, pin your opponent. You can see he is going for the rush, but it's too late. He maybe should have just done this in T1, I suppose, with all the hunt and stuff. Like maybe built up like 4 Mounties in T1 and went from. There's something definitely amiss though with Eco. If you look at like how much carbon he's got like 600 carbon when he's like mounting. Could have maybe went even like triple troop center, I guess, if he's got all that carb. He's on the way. He could just go straight for the power core and still get a decent opportunity here. He's maybe got a Padawan. This is definitely going down. 5 DPS, yeah. So, because he's got so much food, so you see he's going to snake away. It's probably going to be power core, air base, because then you got fighters, you can handle it. Hopefully you're going to upgrade these, Russian. Yeah, I think he did just upgrade them, right? Heavies. So if you can maybe get the nurseries. He used to like keep an eye on them though. What you could do is rally anti-air troopers right now. Because like strikes are not a problem, but if fighters get out, like your Mounties can't deal with that. Run the nerfs away. The Padawan's not a problem, like the Mounties will trash the Padawan. But he needs to not let it just hit his units with this command center. And he's managed to wall this over here. But there could maybe be about 4 or 5 anti-air troopers here right now. And then this is not a problem and the aggression stays and you've pretty much just completely caught Jort off guard here. The turret's smart. He's sort of funneling these away though. Like, I think he needn't not if he'd built some anti-air troopers. Because he's having to build them anyway to defend. But at the very least, you could have just kept this aggression going, and then your opponent has to fanny about for so long defending themselves, and then you get up to T3, and you've, you know, like, stolen some of their nerfs or whatever. Or maybe you can follow up later on. And the problem here is Russian's still not off to. See, the War Center. I wish we never got the War Center. If this was a spaceport, we could have just gone up a bit quicker and just used the imbalanced resources to funnel them around. And the tech time would mean everything, right? So he's getting these nerfs back and it's just sort of stabilising here for Jort. He's going to have this air on the map. There's a lot of anti-air troopers, but they're not really standing somewhere relevant, are they? Like, the eco's here. They should stand here, right? I don't like that they're setting up the front here, because when he comes into the base, they're going to have to react. It's going to be like the American police force. Reacted to a crime or something. It's going to take far, far too long for him there. He wants to be standing here. I shouldn't really say the American police force, any police force. Because remember, the react, they don't necessarily prevent crime. And a lot of workers are going to be going down here. Quite a few will be low from all the luring and stuff as well. And so Jort's going to fly around and pick them apart here. And it would have really helped if they were just standing here as a group, because you could even split them up into 2 groups. and go different directions. But he is hitting T3 now, and he's built up a lot more of these Mounties. And he's maybe trying to get like this force of like Mounties and Troopers together. Push his opponent back. Jort has walled the crossing though. And he is switching into strike mechs as well, and fighters. It's maybe going to be a command center somewhere. CC down here. Going for the gate, but he can't really deal with the strike mech when there's a wall. And Jort can kind of just turtle up here and maybe just T4. Because a lot of these troopers need to be down here to defend the eco. Can't really defend the Mounties the same, so they're going to have to run away from trying to take down that wall. And Jort maybe just going to chill on his base and just get a bit more units together, just so whatever kind of attack Russian's got planned here just doesn't really pan out for him. How do you have 3 nurseries? So unfair. It's just the way the map is. The thing is though, Russian definitely could have killed him. Despite all of that, he could have won this game. Like before, when he was on top of him, if he just got the anti-air troopers to support. Air flying round here. Got one turret down, but doesn't quite cover everything here. There are some troopers to sort of supplement. But again, I think Russians maybe got himself in a bit of a tizzy here about the nerfs and stuff, because they're not really seeing like extra command centers or anything like that. He's kind of walled out from doing this attack. And I think Jort's maybe just got too many units. He's playing very safe now. Just getting all these strike mechs and stuff together, making sure he's not just fighters. And Russian just going to fall behind in workers now, being on the 1cc. Mech Sir is going to push my way. He might go through the gate here. That's what the transport's about. That hollow just sitting there, he's not picked up. And this one. Maybe should have used this time while he had the gate to get the hollows. So I'm going to come forward, can kite though with the strike mechs here. And the army is just not really together as such. Like a lot of the units are sitting here, they needed to just come together as one and then trying to get trade with the strike mechs there. And Jort managing to like half that count of Mounties was really going to help. He did sort of throw his units into sort of melee mode here with Russians, which is really terrible. And Russian going to get a very good trade here. Let's see if he can bring these Mounties quickly. You can keep this pressure going. You can knock him off his carbon here. They're just He's getting a lot of opportunities to like pull this game back, and if they were just here, sort of tunneled on microing these units. These could be like on the nurseries right now, and the nurseries are dead. And he's giving them time to get like these extra mech destroyers out. He's walking into this turret, this garrison, losing strike mechs, walking the anti-air just to their deaths. That's a real shame. The mighties are coming now, but we'll kill off the mech destroyers. But where's the rest of the stuff? Like, could funnel in more strike mechs, and you'd really just go for the the jugular here. Trying to go for power cores. I don't even think going for the power core matters. I think you just go for the units and you go for the nurseries. Like such a good presence that you could just like spawn kill the things that come out. The thing is now, losing the anti-air troopers means that the fighters can freely trade with the it's not even a trade, but you can freely kill off the Mounties. It's just kind of petered off now, and there's, what, 3 CCs against 1. Building another one now, but I think that's like 2 really good opportunities for Russian to take this game. And now I counter attack the air, I'm gonna fly around, and turrets, you know, just don't cover everything. There's maybe an opportunity to switch to like A mobiles as well. I'm gonna call GG. So that'll be it. Jort does take that series 3-0, and really enjoyed that last game. I do kind of wish that Russian just managed it there, because I think those was some really good moments for him. Things worked out quite well in those instances, but it just didn't quite sort of seal the deal there. But it's all a learning experience, and you know, I could maybe see the vulnerabilities a bit easier than he could in that instance. And it is a little bit tilting, you know, your opponent having all these extra nerfs, but kudos to him that you could actually probably win that game in those moments. So if you like the content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you would like, if you want to see more GBG content. And if you want to get involved with the GBG community, we've got a Discord channel. You'll find the link for that down in the description, and that's where this tournament's sort of getting organised, and you can find the recorded games for that and such. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.